Oh, good morning, everybody. How are you? Frankie James here with another episode of the My Crazy Exes podcast. Flying solo. It's early. It's the morning, and not many people like to get up and do a show this early. Happy holidays as well. Hopefully, you had a good one. Um, Holiday times can be pretty crazy, because especially the dating world. Because when is it too soon to bring the person you're involved with around for the holidays? Um, as you can see, our topic tonight, dating with a side of TopGolf. We have a great special guest that's going to be coming on momentarily. Um, had a great conversation with this person, and we have a few things in common actually. And it's not just the fact that we are in the Pennsylvania state. Um, Make sure you give all the social medias a follow. My Crazy Exes is part of the Unity Podcast Network. Follow UPN on Facebook, Instagram. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. Feel free, everyone, to comment in. Comments can be shown on screen if you have any questions, comments, or concerns. But we're gonna get into it. We're gonna get into our episode. Yes, I decided to dress up for this one, as I tend to do. We have really special guest, and I'm super pumped up to get her on. She's the founder, CEO of Crystal Carmen Media. She does a ton of great things. We got to have a really good conversation about it. Let's welcome Crystal Carmen to the show, the woman who could do it all and make you fall in love even faster. The one, the only Crystal Carmen. Welcome to the show. How was that introduction? That
I
wasn't
mean,
bad.
I loved it. I loved it. Perfect. That's got to be my slogan now. Thanks for having me.
Listen, you can have it. It's all absolutely. It's all yours. It's all yours. I'll make sure that we don't get that copyrighted. So, thanks for being part of the show. Obviously, it's early in the morning. I love doing a good early morning show. I want to talk a little bit about one the fact that we connected through Clubhouse. A friend of ours, Wyatt, good man. He's probably tuning in. I'm surprised he's not commenting in right now. He had mentioned that you're local because we don't have too many influencers, content creators in this area. And
Sure.
then we had talked. I said, "So whereabouts are you?" And you mentioned the infamous, the one and only Delaware County, Delco.
Definitely.
Delco's finest. So you came from NYC to good old Delco, and I have some good viewers on here. Speaking of the devil, the man, the myth, Wyatt, Frankie, what's up
Hi.
with this early morning assault with Crystal? Thanks for checking in, brother.
Hi,
Always good
Wyatt.
to have you on here. Thanks again, brother. You put it for the connect. We had a great conversation. But so what got you to move to New York to back to Delco, if you don't mind me asking? Let's talk a little bit about you and your upcoming.
So I kind of traveled a little bit all over Pennsylvania. Went straight from New York to Reading because I had some family down there. But every time I would drive from New York, there was this little town in Bethlehem. Stood in Bethlehem for a little while, put up a beauty store, and then I realized that that town really didn't have the New York swag when it came to fashion and beauty.
Not Bethlehem. No, no.
and and basically I said, all my gigs ended up in the city in Philadelphia. But I really didn't want to be a city girl again. So I landed in the Delaware burbs,
I
and
love
that's how that
the
happened.
Delaware Burbs is actually that sounds
I
better.
mean,
Delaware
yeah,
Burbs
yeah,
actually
no,
sounds
no,
better.
the Philadelphia burbs.
I like the Delaware because Delaware is not too
I'm
far
sure
from
you
you.
do.
Yeah.
You took offense to my Philadelphia burbs.
Being in Northeast Philadelphia in my life, and when I think of the burbs, I think of like areas like Somerton and even Willow Grove, where I'm at now. We don't typically think burbs of Delco, so I love that you're able to throw that mention out there. Just trying to throw it up there. A little comment. Crystal is looking hot, and Frankie's spiffy with the bow tie. Thank you. We got a big meeting
Thank
after this
you.
in Langhorne. Thanks for checking in again, brother. We'll definitely make sure that we get you on the show. Go follow Shark Fin's YouTube channel. I'll put another comment up there. He's got good stuff. We're also going to try and do a collab soon. So you're here. You're in Delco. Now, we got to talking about, obviously, we'll dive into the relationship things, but I want to talk about some of the things that you have accomplished because you have a pretty incredible story. And it's the definition of vision and then execution. No matter what the outcome may be, like that's what it was all about. And I can relate. So tell us a little bit about what you got going on, and especially Crystal Carmen Media.
So thank you so much. I've been in the fashion and beauty industry for so long, and basically, I kind of combined all the worlds. I created a fashion show. I, traveled places doing makeup. I was a beauty editor for a brief stint, and then I, started a beauty business in the Delaware County area, aka the Philadelphia Burbs, and to me anyway. I'm gonna get killed for that, I guess. But
I love that.
there was that. And then along the way, I created this spa, like a trend spa, that specialized in like non-surgical solutions. And then I felt like I was helping people with ideas and concepts and marketing their own things and monetizing. And Crystal Carmen, the media person, was sort of born, and I started a digital marketing company, and started helping people get their branding and their site, their message together. And it's been an phenomenal journey.
I love that. I love that. And the different things that you have touched on and made an impact on, and then it's like, okay, I think that there's more, and then you
Right.
master that, and then there's more, and you could continue just to keep going. There's always something new going on, and with something new going on, make sure you give my new friend a follow on all of her social media. I have put it in the comments, her IG, her Twitter, which we're going to build more, and her
Yeah.
Facebook. She's got some incredible content on there. She does a really good job. She works hard. She is around the clock. Obviously, she's up doing a morning show with me. So, with all those things that you've been able to do, I've also learned about you. You have an incredible ability to be able to talk to people and
Yeah.
give advice, and not just from the woman's standpoint. You really do look at the big picture, as I do. As we mentioned before, I told you, and obviously my viewers know I have 7 sisters, and
Right.
I'm the only boy. So I'm already looking at it from a female perspective. I mean, listen, girl power, 100%. Um, you know, you've been able to give advice from like relationship standpoints, and do you think that has something to do with like the stuff that you've been through in relationships, or are you just good at dissecting? Because I can relate to that as well. And then we'll get through the serious talk, and then we'll have some story times and fun.
Yeah, so that's a great question. And I think when I look back on it and try to locate like where it all began, I have to say that some of it is just based on, observation and dissecting things. I recall giving relationship advice as young as like 16. And like,
Oh,
yeah, I'll tell you a little bit more about that story if you want to hear later. But yeah, so as young as 16, I ended up giving this one particular girl some dating advice, and not only was it transformational for her, but her very next date became her husband.
wow. Talk about Cupid.
Yeah, at
I'm like
16.
speechless right now.
I don't know.
That's pretty incredible. And you have, and I'll tell you this, and this is just from conversation because we obviously get to have like a little pre-screening beforehand. We got to talk with the
Yeah.
obviously shout out to one of our favorite platforms, Clubhouse app. All types of good stuff on there. Make sure you find us on the Clubhouse app as well. Just by our names. You have a way of delivering. Okay, and this is just by me dissecting myself. You have really good delivery, and I think that's important because when you're talking to someone, it's like everything else is just not there. Your focus is on that person. And realistically, for male or female, that attention is important. Knowing that somebody is listening. Deep down inside, everybody always wants that one on one. And when you can deliver it well, people will listen. I mean, I've always been a fan, like, I mean, a fan, but giving advice that sometimes, yeah, I should take my own advice, but the situational situations, of course, that's pretty remarkable to be able to help people with relationship advice. Like I told you a little bit before, a lot of the advice I give obviously is within the mental health community and the hotline that I volunteer for. But that's unfortunate advice.
Right.
Sadly, what you're able to do is, I mean, you're shooting bow and arrows and setting love dates. Like I said, dating with a side of Topgolf. You never know where you're going to end up with on this show.
Right.
It's incredible. And if anybody has any little questions, I'll throw a couple up there. Not too many though, because if you want the full service, you're going to have to reach out to her via social media. Uh, my crazy X's as the promo code, and you never know what kind of prize you'll get.
Right.
Let's dive into now some relationship stuff. All
Okay.
right,
Let's do it.
with our topic, relationship or relationship, the return, part 2.
Oh my God.
We're gonna go into some solid relationships over times, and we're gonna go into some shitty relationships over times. And I'll do a little kickoff here, and it's a story that I told you when we were talking earlier, and that's about when me and my ex, we split up, and I got back into the dating world early on, and I was talking to somebody for a couple weeks, and you just never know who could be on the other side. There's so many different ways to meet people these days. There's the apps, there's out in public,
Right.
there's just being outside their window with a burning whatever. You just never know. Sacrificing an animal. I mean, times are crazy right now, especially pre-COVID. I started talking to this woman, and 2 weeks goes by, and incredible, good connection. And I'm like, I'm kind of new with this. I better go check back and check the bio. We're making a plan to date. And next thing you know, I was actually a full surgery transgender. And I just knew that I couldn't just ghost this woman. Like, I'm not going to do that. Like, who the hell would do that? Like, yeah, there's a connection made. In my mind, I didn't know what was going to hum of it. I mean, I have to be realistic. Maybe my doubt was there a little bit. I just
Right.
didn't know. It was new for me.
Right.
And then, we met and we remained friends. And a part of the story that I left out with you, because I obviously have, content, I got to thinking, I'm like, man, that's like her area. Like, that's like man-made. Like, that's got to be prime time. But sadly, we never found out. Best of
Right.
luck for whoever was able to get in there. But you never know what could come of dating. That's kind of like the key thing here. We got another comment here. We got Dennis Davis, very inspiring. Absolutely. Appreciate you checking in. And then we got Sharkfin, relationships. Love it. Yeah. He's a big fan of the show. So let's dive in a little bit with you, a little bit of story. Like, so you've been in relationships, you give relationship advice. Tell me like maybe a story of some advice that you may have given, and like obviously situational, or even a story that you may have from a past relationship that always sticks out, good or bad.
Good or bad. Okay. So I have a friend of mine who, let's just say, I felt that she kept having the same she was having the same relationship, in my opinion, every time with a different person, right? So it
Oh,
was like it seemed like I could almost predict where the hang up was gonna be, how it was gonna go.
the Groundhog Day.
Yeah, I was like, all right, we're going through this again. Um, and one of the things that I noticed, and I try to tell people as well, is that you know, if something keeps repeating itself over and over from person to person, then you want to start looking at yourself,
100%.
because the likelihood of you, I mean, it's not that we can't get attracted to the same type of person, because we can, but that in of itself is indicative of something going on with you. So, and so anyway, I basically told her, look, I need you to like consider, okay, what is happening on each breakdown point, the breakdown in communication, like what is the trigger there? And she's like, oh well, it's just that they say this, but they say that. And what we got to in the end was she actually wasn't ready for a relationship, right?
F-
So she was just basically dating for the sake of like, yeah, I do want one, but not really.
Was it the company? Do you think, does she just want the company? Does she just not want to feel alone? Like the continuously hunting for relationships, but they end the same way. Like you're essentially finding the same guy. I mean, obviously we now know you have a type, because you're going into the same guy,
Right.
same ending. But like, with that situation, like coming to realize like, oh, I just wasn't ready for a relationship anyway. Like, when does that essentially click? And I'll answer that question. I think it doesn't. I think sometimes advice needs to be given, and or it's just to repeat it. Like, I've never gotten like a relationship advice. Never really seeked it. I've been in serious relationships and I've been in not serious relationships. I've always like, and I never really gave too much of relationship advice. Like, I would just give simple answers to what was in front of me, essentially. Like, if they look at what's in front of them, like, okay, this is what's happening in the relationship. Red flag, red flag, red flag. This isn't right. This isn't right. It's probably not going to work out. It just takes somebody else to tell them that, and it just so
Yeah.
happens to be you.
Yeah, I think sometimes we have a hard time, um, so, sitting down and really just reflecting on maybe we're the problem, and bringing that to her attention actually made her think about it for a second. And of course, it is all in delivery. You can't just tell somebody, "Hey, you're the issue," because that's going to automatically put them on the defense.
Hey, you suck.
Nobody wants to go through that. So I did it, and long story short is she chose to take a hiatus and really work on what she wanted, because if you don't know what you're wanting, if you don't know where you're going, any path will take you there. So it's like anything is going to seem like a fit, and then you're going to dissect it till it's not.
Well, so you're almost looking for everything not to work. So the old check in. How is she now? Have you are you in contact with her? Is she on the mark? Is she looking?
Yeah, so she just started dating again.
We should get her on the show.
We should.
She'll be my next guest. Get her on. If you're watching right now, hop on. If you're not, I'm gonna have Crystal text you anyway.
I will reach out to her
So
as well.
we'll reach out to her. We love that kind of stuff. We're all here to help each other. And any relationship advice, like I said, please put a comment in there. And once again, for our Spotify viewers that aren't live, we have special guest, entrepreneur, and relationship professional, whatever she may call herself. Not a professional, she is a professional. I've heard some of her advice. She's also the CEO and founder of Crystal Carmen Media. She's incredibly talented. She's an inspiration. I got to have some really, really great conversations with her early on. Lots that you can learn from her, from finding a goal and really achieving that goal. She's the pure definition of that. And she's a pretty woman too. Um,
Thank you.
Not bad for the old Delco. So have you been able to do fun things in Delco at all? Like, realistically,
I
have you
I
gotten
have.
around?
I love Lim Villa Orchards, which is fun to me. I have no
Okay.
idea why I enjoy paying to go pick my own vegetables and fruit, but it does something for me. I don't know if it's nature. I don't know if it's just wanting to support the local economy,
Love
but
that.
it's just like me and my kids have been doing it since we moved to Delco, and we pretty much go whenever whatever's in season, and we
Mhm.
go, and that's our little sort of Delco tradition. So,
I heard a ping. I
oh,
heard
I'm
a
so sorry.
ping. No, you're okay. I'm hoping that was our special, maybe a little pop in for somebody. So you told me a story, okay, early on, and it kind of comes with our title, "Dating with a Side of Top Golf."
Right.
Now, I'll focus more on like what we were talking about. Like, so you have had 2, 3 dates or opportunities to go to Top Golf, and
Yes.
you are 0 for 3.
Oh for 3. Oh for 3. It's always something changes. Um, there's a decision to go somewhere else, or as in the case in the flamingo dancer, we're gonna call him.
Well, why don't we could go right into that story too after you finish what you're saying. What you're saying.
In the case of the flamingo dancer, yeah, that just never occurred.
For the record, anybody that knows me, I have already pre-warned her that I do have the moves. I do dance. I used to have a video actually on here of me dancing, but flamingo dancing. That I've never been called that. I'm not sure if that would be a good thing. So tell us the story about the flamingo. You were supposed to go Top Golf. You went 0 for 62. You still haven't swung clubs yet. We're gonna make sure we have. I know the manager over there. We're gonna make sure we get you VIP. Um, Oh, our good friend Wyatt. Yeah, don't forget Frank Crystal's a native New Yorker.
I'm
She's
from
also
New York.
Italian too. Yeah, she told me she was actually also Italian. It's always good to find a fellow Italian. Look, local content creator, Italian, doesn't get any better than that. So Flamingo dancing, or tell us a story. I think you may be on mute. You may be on mute. You're on mute. Yeah, it's okay. She'll be back, people. She's, but and she's back. All right, you're back now. Good. Sorry about that, everybody.
Sorry about that.
Listen, the thing was dancing. It probably wants to go to TopGolf, to be honest with you. So a couple opportunities ago, you didn't make it, and I feel like I keep starting over and really focus on this TopGolf thing. Tell us a story about the potential date that was supposed to happen, where things don't always work out.
That date, the date there or lack thereof. Where do I start with that? So, yeah. So basically, there was a gentleman going.
You're back on mute. You lost your mic again. It's okay. Yeah, you lost your mic again. Sorry, we'll be back. That's better.
Yeah, I'm not understanding. It's still on. I'm so sorry. So
sorry, it's okay. We run the show here. We run the show.
Okay. So
patiently.
Since you didn't hear me, I'll start over. So I consider the date that really wasn't, because he started off really, showing me a lot of attention, wanting a lot of time. We spoke. It was very romantic. Had these big plans to take me here or there and everywhere. And we finally settled upon just starting with a really simple, French meal at a park in Philly. It's a little cafe. It's not a big deal, but that's what we agreed upon. And then, unbelievably, as we're going through the night before, I get a notification from Park that the reservation has been canceled. So I contact him.
Breaking news, everybody. The reservation was canceled.
I'm like, okay, wait. How is it that it gets canceled and I'm the last to know? What's going on here? So why is the restaurant telling me
Clearly,
this?
you didn't get the memo, Crystal.
I got skipped. So I went over there and I'm like, not went over there, but called him and I'm like, hey, the reservations got canceled. What's going on? Are we changing the time? He's like, oh, I have no idea. I'm going to go check on it. And yeah. And long story short is he pretends all the way to the next day. But me, I was thinking ahead. I booked myself reservations the next slot so I can go eat by myself because I already know where this is going. And sure enough, an hour before the date, he cancels.
As you're already there munching and grunching, probably with a cardboard cutout of somebody.
My after, but I'm basically on the way.
What really threw me off here, and that's just the world of dating. I've heard so many terror stories, and I just don't even know how it's possible sometimes. I always said dating was very easy. How do you go from making the big, huge plan and we're going to do this, and this to bringing it back down for a nice romantic friendship dinner? That right there, I would have just been like, okay, I'm confused here. I'm all about setting the bar at a standard, but he must have been like, hey, I'm so and so. Nice to meet you. I could show you the world. And he just hit you with the magic carpet ride like Aladdin. And then realistically, you were coming back down to hitting up the local Sizzler. I don't even know if they're around anymore.
I mean, it wasn't, I wouldn't say it's as bad as Sizzler, but it was definitely not what I was expecting.
That's wild. That's and I don't. It throws me off. And speaking of wild, I have a link here for Crystal's venture with Carmen. Tell us a little bit about this website real fast before I throw out the good news you just sent me.
So it's basically a conversation that women like to have with me about rotational dating, and it's really the platform for making sure that they don't get kind of stuck on one thing, and they're really able to analyze their partners. And so there's a promo code My Crazy Ex all together that'll get them $50 off.
Oh, well, I greatly appreciate that. I'm sure I'll be taking advantage of that bad boy for sure. Use the promo code My Crazy Ex. I will put that all over our social media as well. Like I said, I got to have some really great conversations, and from one person that talks to people to another who does similar, she's incredible to talk to. She's straightforward, she's serious, she dissects it, but she also makes you feel incredibly cozy, very cozy. So, man, that guy really messed up, didn't he? Oh man, let's transition into another little conversation. With the dating world, we just got through the holidays. All right, Merry Christmas. Hopefully, everybody had a great holiday, and from the both of us and everybody here at the My Crazy Exes podcast, a big question: when is it too soon to bring? And I quote the holiday hottie around the family, and I have to give a plug to my somebody I know that gave me the title of the holiday hottie. What do you think is it too soon? Like how far in? Like say like you just start meeting somebody maybe like November. Are they getting invited to Christmas? When is too soon?
I feel
And
like I feel like if I met you in November and there's a couch and I plan on possibly keeping you,
I
then
think
I'm
you'll already
okay.
know. You'll
I
already
think
know.
I
I
think
think.
you're coming to the family shindig because I need them to kind of win over you and analyze you so I can get the tea when you leave. Absolutely.
I love the good tea. I always like every time I've met somebody and when I'm with somebody and I meet their family, I'm always just like, I pre-warn them. I'm like, I'm telling you right now, you're gonna see a side that's just like you're so taken back. Just sit back and watch, because I go right in. Hey, how you doing? I'm Frankie. I'm Daniel. And we just get to talking. And I'm a talker. I'm not the one that's gonna sit in the corner like, oh, go get my food for me. I'm like, hey, how you doing, everybody? What's going on?
Hey, how you doing?
How you doing? And the parents are usually impressed because I'm engaging, and that's just the way I like to be. I mean, that's who I am, and I wouldn't change it for a minute. So November, there's interest. They're coming. What if it's like 2 weeks before Christmas, but you're spending time with each other, and you're like, yeah, I like the cat. He's a good guy. I'll bring him around.
No,
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 not happening, huh?
no, not Christmas.
Christmas is a big day.
It's a
Baby,
little,
sweet
it's a
baby
little,
Jesus was
it's a little personal
born.
for me. That's a little personal. I even the New Year's bash, I can kind of dig it, but Christmas is just too personal for me.
I respect that. What about the old Halloween? I'm just gonna hit the holidays. I'm just running down the list now.
Yeah, I mean
Halloween.
holidays. I feel like Thanksgiving dinner is pretty big. Like
So yeah,
I feel like if you're sitting down with my family at Thanksgiving dinner, I should be really like we should be exclusive at that point.
you should be wearing the jacket, the old varsity jacket. You guys are going steady.
We're going
Um,
steady.
you guys are going steady at that point.
Because you coming over, you're seeing my family like photos. You're like looking at pictures of me when I was a kid. Like, yeah, we should definitely be going steady.
How you doing? Hey, a little plug there. Man, if pictures of me when I was a baby, I was 10'1" when I was born, by the way. I was 10 pounds, 1 ounce.
Oh my
I was
gosh.
I was big. Yeah, all nose. 33 years later, I
Oh
finally
my
grew
gosh.
into the thing. Yeah, Jesus, my poor mother. So I'm gonna keep running. So Thanksgiving, Christmas, that's obviously two holidays. That's got to mean something. You bring it around. That's got to definitely mean something. It's not like Christopher Columbus Day pops up and it's like, hey, want to meet the crew? You know what I mean? That typically isn't going to happen. I can respect what you're saying, and I think I'm for that. I met a gal, and I went and met her dad actually like 24 hours later. But here's the deal. She was like, I have to go meet my dad. I have to go see my dad. I was like, I'll go with you. I don't give a shit. Let's fucking. But I'm very spontaneous like that, and not knowing what was going to come of anything, obviously. But yeah, and he actually has a podcast, like a test tasting drinking podcast. A little plug for the Grantham Pub Underground, and I went on the show with him, like the day I met him, and it was the best content I ever did.
Go
It was
figure.
so awesome. It was so much fun. Like I could like do like
You can go on
improv,
podcast anywhere.
just jump right in. I'll just do the show. You know what I mean? I hear podcasts. I'm like, ooh, podcasts. I want to be
Let's
on.
go.
Let's do it. Whatever it's about. Who gives a shit? Feminism. I love feminism. I got 7 sisters. I'm practically a
I
woman.
love
Let's
feminism.
like I'll sing some Alanis Morissette songs, which I happen to love her. So as we start transitioning, once again, I'm just want to thank you for coming on. We just got to talk, and I just thought that this was a good idea, and getting over to get a lot of good feedback. So, once again, make sure you give Crystal a follow on all of her social media platforms. It is in the comments. I'll be putting it on the social media as well. I'll put it up there on the screen, but it also is in the comments. Make sure you give her a follow, especially her Twitter. Um, as we start transitioning out, let's talk about the holidays.
I'm,
The best and
I'm
worst
Twitter
presents from a
buried.
partner. The best and worst presents from a partner. I'm gonna let you go first on here before we do our final thought, and then I'll do mine. So best and worst.
Yes, and
I'll let
worst.
I'll let you think. I'll let you think for a minute because mine already came. So the worst present I think I ever got from somebody. I hate the socks, the underwear thing, man. Like, don't get me. My mom gets me that. Like, you don't have to get me socks and underwear. Like, that's what mom gets me. Like, now I have an overload for at least 1 week because then I lose one of the socks anyway. So I guess it's probably worth it. Not that I don't like it or appreciate it, but it's just not my favorite gift. The best gift I ever got from somebody. Um, Best gift I ever got from somebody. Flyers tickets is always a good one. Um, yeah, I don't know. The best gift I ever got from somebody. I'm trying to think.
Well, my best gift was an
That's
iPad.
not good if I can't think of it. Jesus. What was yours?
So the best gift I've ever gotten from somebody, and it was because of how much I wanted it to, was an iPad. Definitely like that. I really wanted it. I really needed it for what I was trying to do, and I got it like pretty much 2 weeks later for my birthday. So, bam.
What was it? What was it?
Oh, it was an iPad.
Oh,
Like
okay, the
I
iPad.
had I had started a business that required me to like draw on faces,
Mm-hmm.
and I needed to do that. And like basically, my birthday, I got it, and that was awesome. Now I you got to give me a second to think about the worst though.
Well, I'll let you think about the worst, and we have a question actually from our good man Wyatt. The real question is, how do you decide when to invite a guy to the fam barbecue? So that's actually a good question because like barbecues and then like the holiday dinners, um, I love inviting to the barbecue because that's like a good way because everybody's usually buzzing a little bit more. Summertime.
Third date,
I had a friend that was always a good time.
I feel like a third date, third or fourth date. By that time, I'm second. First date, you know how that goes. Well, that's for another show. But first date, the guy is kind of feeling you out, right? And she is too. Second
It's
date, I'm
exactly
feeling
for
you.
this show.
Second date, you are feeling. You're deciding. The guy goes back. He decides if he wants the second. Third date, you like this girl. She likes you, and that's
We're
safe
coming to
for
the
the barbecue.
barbecue. I'm with you. I think that's perfect timing. I think that's perfect timing. Well said. Good question too, Sharkfin, and an even better answer. Now I'm having trouble with my best gift. Um, oh, you know what? It wasn't a Christmas present, but I once got a pair of socks and underwear actually with my face on them. That was kind of cool. Um, I mean, for my sister
What?
actually. Yeah, I had a pair of dress socks and I had my face on it with just a mustache. I'm pretty sure I could find them. Um, I
That's
used to
kind of
wear them to
scary.
work. They were funny. It always gave me a good chuckle. Um, but yeah, worst worst gift for you.
From a partner. A ring that turned my finger green. It was horrible.
What are you, the Incredible Hulk?
Like, I know. I was like, what in the like name of God is this on my finger?
Oh
I was like,
my
all right,
goodness.
so I understand if it's not gonna be a gemstone, like I can live with that, like a
What are
real
you?
gemstone, but
You were
the
turning into a Ninja Turtle.
but the metal can't be real. Like I can't do it.
I'm surprised the thing didn't bite you. Oh my goodness! But listen, once again, thank you so much.
Imagine my horror.
Not good, not good. But that's wild. Tell everyone where we can find you. I have your social media plugged. What do you have going on? What's next for you? Fill
So,
everybody in before we do our final thought.
well, you have my social media. So I'm pretty much everywhere under Crystal Carmen. On some places like TikTok, you'll find me under Crystal Carmen official because there are other people that use my name or what have you. I we're actually working on because I rebranded Crystal Carmen Enterprises into Crystal Carmen Media. So there's a new website going up for that. But I'm pretty much on TikTok. I'm on YouTube. YouTube.com Crystal Carmen. I'm also an Amazon influencer and I have like recommended shopping lists, gifts for dapper men, bougie kitchen
Mm,
items, things like that.
mm. Speaking
And
my language.
so I'm there, and that's Amazon.com/shop// Crystal Carmen.
She's everywhere. She's probably on cable. Couldn't be more happy to be part of this. As we transition out, I always like to do a little off-topic thing and just a final thought. It could be anything. It doesn't have to be this show related. My final thought is, as always, why is Chick-fil-A closed on Sundays? Everybody once likes Chick-fil-A. It should be open on Sundays every now and then. Crystal Carmen, final thought.
Oh, why is Chick-fil-A? Final thought of my own. Let me think.
Anything. First thing that comes to mind.
First thing that comes to mind. What is with the men versus women rooms on Clubhouse? Help me figure this. I don't
Yo,
understand.
I think
We
why
stop
it's been
liking each
called
other, and I
why
miss men know.
why it's been caught on one of them before. I had to come in and save the day for one time. I'll have to save that and have a conversation. But that's it. Quick episode, and it flies by. Look at that, 40 minutes. I got to go to big meetings. She's got content to create and relationships to save, or maybe destroy. You never know what kind of advice you're going to get. Stand by. Follow her
Done
on her
that
social
before.
media. You never know. It depends on how much you're bucking up. Stay in the back. We'll be talking soon. And incredible episode, guys. Make sure you give all the social media plug, a follow. If you enjoyed all this, there's always more content. And with that being said, we'll be doing another episode soon. So stand by, have a good one, and as I always, go Birds.